Deep within a silent forest, a single piano key was struck, and in that moment, the world as I knew it changed. We spent years trying to fix our lives, fighting thoughts, forcing clarity, chasing outcomes. But what if? It was never about doing more. What if one precise moment, one clear signal, one perfect internal note was enough to collapse the distance between who you are and who you are trying to become? Let me tell you what happened. I had been walking for hours, far enough that the noise of the world had disappeared. No notifications, no voices, no urgency, just the forest. Still, dense, almost listening. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable because when external noise fades, internal noise becomes louder. Thoughts I had been ignoring surfaced, unfinished conversations, doubts, fragments of worry. It was chaotic, not outside, inside. And then I saw it, a piano, old, worn, placed in the middle of the forest as if it had always been there. It didn't feel random, it felt waiting. I sat down, not because I had planned, but because something in me had gone quiet enough to notice. For a moment, I didn't play anything. I just listened to the stillness, to the space between thoughts, and then, without thinking, I pressed one key, just one. The sound moved through the forest differently than I expected. It didn't feel like noise, it felt precise. The vibration didn't just travel outward, it felt like moved inward, as if something in me recognized it. In physics, that's a concept called resonance. When one frequency matches another, energy transfers instantly, effortlessly. That's what it felt like. Not like when I created the sound, but like I aligned with it. In that moment, something became obvious. The problem was never lack of effort, it was interference. Too many thoughts, too many directions, too much noise. We don't lack power, we diffuse it. That single note did something strange. It made everything feel unnecessary. All the mental arguments, all the overthinking, all the imagined futures, they didn't disappear, they just lost relevance. For the first time, I wasn't trying to fix my life. I was experiencing clarity, not as an idea, but as a state. And I realized something. When the mind stops scattering, energy concentrates. And when energy concentrates, reality responds differently. I stayed there longer than I realized, not playing music, just returning to that one note, again and again. Each time it felt less like an action and more like a reminder. The distance between thought and reality is not time, it's coherence. When your inner state is fragmented, the outer world reflects delay. But when your inner state is aligned, things begin to move, not dramatically, but cleanly. Decisions become easier, conversations become smoother, opportunities feel timed, and all happens in divine order. It's not that reality changes instantly, it is that resistance dissolves, and what was already possible finally flows. Eventually, I left the forest, but something stayed. Not the piano, not the sound, the state. I call it the forest note. Not a physical sound, but a point of internal alignment. A place you can return to when everything feels scattered. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to solve every problem. You just need to find your note. One clear intention, one stable thought, one grounded state. And hold it. Not forcefully, just consistently. Because the power was never in the piano, it was never in the forest, it was never in the note, it was always in the ability to become still enough to hear yourself clearly. Let that settle. Most people are trying to change their lives by adding more effort, more strategies, more noise. But maybe the shift doesn't come from addition, it comes from precision. One note held clearly long enough for everything else to fall into place.